that.
You don't see it.
Listen, you know what I would love to do, Joey? I would love to have, like, I don't think there's never did it. There's not, and which is a shame because he really occasionally knocked out a good song. He's very wealthy, and his mother then writer. All I care, I mean, I've known Joey a long time. And I have not had, I haven't had a decent day, but I It wasn't COVID related, was it?
So weird. Hmm?
So what are we calling this version of you guys? Wait, pomegranate and what? Rimon? She thought that was cool because pomegranates are very cool in Israel. Is that true? But this group doesn't have a name yet. Rimonim. You would be Rimonim. Cool.
Oh, what's your name's playing guitar too? Is that Tess? Wait, who's the other? Is that Tess?
I think we're going to start. There are several people on our Zoom getting ready. Is our band ready? Yeah, we're ready. Oh. Tess just left.
There you go. You need one of those stands with the picks on, like the pros do. You just throw the picks in the crowd, you know.
These are my favorite ever.
I like that. That's good. Yeah.
All right, Shabbat Shalom. We want to thank Lisa, Tess, and Carl for being here to make music tonight again with Chazan Agar. And we were just saying that there are many different iterations of musicians that the Cantor has brought. There's the Neshama band, there's the jazz, but there may be a name for the jazz band that's percolating, we'll have to see. And this is the acoustic version of the band and drum. So anyone is invited to submit creative names for our different groups. We're always very happy to hear them. So, but we, in the meantime, thank them for being here and helping to create joy and beauty on our Shabbat service tonight. We're going to invite you to turn to your Sidurim and begin on page 13 along with Chazan Agar. One of the things I have to remember, if you can help me remember, is that these mics require that they be very close to your mouth when you're speaking. And I have been told by people who listen on Zoom, and we welcome everyone who is on Zoom. I think we have a minion of folks on Zoom, that it's much easier to hear when the mic is very close to my mouth. So it may be a little bit loud in this room, but it's important that people can hear on the Zoom, so I'm going to try to keep it close when I'm speaking. So we begin on page 13 of our Sidur with Shalom Aleichem. Please join with the Cantor.
Shalom,
with us as we turn now to page 16 of your prayer book and continue, Yismechu Hashamayim, the heavens will rejoice.
ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירמה ימו מלוא, ירמה ימו מלוא, ירמה ימו מלוא, ירמה ימו מלוא, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירמה ימו מלוא, ירמה ימו מלוא, ירמה ימו מלוא, ירמה ימו מלוא, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירמה ימו מלוא, ירמה ימו מלוא, ירמה ימו מלוא, ירמה ימו מלוא, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ.
We're going to turn ahead now to page 19 as we continue with Psalm 99, and we continue with a Nava Tehillah melody for this prayer, page 19 of your prayer book.
And let's just quickly learn it first. So I'll sing and you repeat. Zamru l'Adonai. Let's try that.
Zamru l'Adonai
Bechin.
Bechinor
Bechinor.
Bechinor
Vechol zimra.
Bechol Zimra.
Okay, let's try the whole thing together. Zamru l'Adonai Bechinor.
Zamru l'Adonai Bechinor
Bechinor.
Bechinor
Vechol zimra.
Bechol Zimra.
All right, great. Now we can sing together.
We want to apologize. We're actually on page 18, and we're doing Psalm 98. I announced the wrong page. It's the middle of page 18, Psalm 98. Zamru l'Adonai Bechinor, Bechinor B'kol Zimra. Page 18.
Zamru l'Adonai Bechinor. Bechinor. Bechol zimra. Zamru l'Adonai Bechinor. Bechinor. Bechol zimra. Zamru l'Adonai Bechinor. Bechinor. Bechol zimra.
So if you take a moment just to look at the words that we are singing and that we are, that make up Kabbalat Shabbat, it's really as if you could imagine yourself just being out on a hike somewhere in the woods or by a creek or near a river or approaching a mountain or by the ocean, and simply the created world that God has given us going about its being, whether or not it's the birds that you might hear, if you can imagine yourself, or the sound that the creek is making or the river is making. In the Kabbalist's imagination, that is a song of praise to God. The working of nature is in itself a song of praise. So as we sing these Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, even though we're in a heated room with electricity and lighting and sound, the Kabbalists are asking us to imagine that all of the earth surrounding us is a song of praise to God, and we are joining our voice with all of nature to thank God for the gift of creation. So we'll continue on page 20 as we turn ahead now to Psalm 29. Please feel free to either sit or stand as you choose as we sing Mizmor LeDavid, page 20.
Mizmor LeDavid, Avul Adonai b'nei, Avul Adonai, Kavod Evaos, ay, 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 Avul Adonai, Kevod Shemo, Avul Adonai, Ve'ata Kodesh, Kol Adonai, Alamai, El Kavod Hiri, Adonai, Alamai, Rabbi, Kol Adonai, Bagoa, ay, 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 Kol Adonai, Ve'at, Kol Adonai, Shover Arazim, Shover Adonai, Yeter Ze'alevato, Yarkidem Kimo Egel, Halo, Kulo Merkavot, Adonai Lamamor Yashar, Vayeshev Adonai Melech Leolam, ay, 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 Adonai Yoseh Amo Yitem, Adonai Yevarech et Amo, Vashalom, Vashalom, Yevarech et Amo, Vashalom.
Please feel free to be seated. We're going to continue with, again, another melody from Navat Hila with Lecha Dodi, beginning page 21 of your Siddur. We'll do the first, second, and last verse on that page before we rise, if we are able to greet the Shekhinah on the bottom of page 22.
Lecha Dodi, Ligerate Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela, Lecha Dodi, Ligerate Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Mekabela, Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, במחשבה תחילה לך אדוני לקראת קלה בני שבת
Please be seated. It's a beautiful, beautiful melody. Thank you to our musicians and our Cantor for bringing so many Nava Tehillah melodies to us. We're going to continue on page 23. Before we do, I want to just let you know that we have a super long extended chord here because until we get our new sound system for this room, which will have a cordless mic that people can hear on our Zoom and our live stream, we have to use the corded mic. We do have a cordless mic that we've used in this room, but it will not be heard by anyone who's watching our live stream or Zoom. So that's why we have to but I'm going to pass the mic around, and you're going to introduce yourself, and if you have one word that defined your week, you can say what your word is. We'll try to figure out what's going on. But anyhow, so you are going to have that opportunity. I want to give you a little bit of advance notice before your mic comes your way. And that's why it's going to be a very long chord. So we're continuing on page 23, and we will continue with Mizmor Shir, page 23 of your prayer book.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, במטך בלבו. צדיק כתמר יפרח, בלבנון נזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, וחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. הודיענו בורא בשיבה, ושנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי אשר אדוני צורי ללא עמלת עבר.
We're going to invite those of you in the process of mourning or observing a yard site to please rise as we conclude Kabbalat Shabbat with Kaddish Atom, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 24. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
B'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon. V'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'yimru.
Amen.
Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemayim. V'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. We ask God who brings peace and comfort on high to bring peace and comfort to those of you who are remembering your loved ones. So, as I had mentioned, we'll do a quick introduction, then I have a poem. Friday night is not sermon time, it's quick, so we'll do a little poem together. But before, we're going to introduce ourselves. Word of the week, I'm going to violate my own instruction. So I'm David Glanzberg-Krainin. My 2 words of the week are Minshumania and Kliel. My daughter turned 26 this week, and she's in a very good time of her life. It's beautiful to see. And, you know, you got to love Gardner Minshew. I mean, Jalen Hurts is great, and I hope that he becomes our franchise quarterback, but it was fun watching Gardner, gotta say. All right, I'm passing it to the Cantor. Yeah, that's the chord we're going to use, right?
Yeah. Cantor Jacob Agar. Word of the week, I guess, feeling good. That's 2 words.
I'm Carl. Word of the week, my 5-year-old grandson playing piano and taking lessons, and he's really good.
Wow. Wow, you got another musician in the family.
Hi, Tess Zakreski. I've got a hyphenated word, topsy-turvy.
Topsy-turvy.
Hi, Lisa Stein. I have 2 words, interesting and kittens. Our daughter's been babysitting or cat sitting for a teacher friend, so I never saw so many cats in one room before.
Everyone just put the mic closer to your mouth because it's not picking up otherwise.
Yeah, you need to have it like about here. Chazan, is my cord going to...
Valerie Lieberman, feeling good. It's close.
Joe Lieberman, and every day you wake up is a good day.
Amen.
Shelley Hittinger, well balanced. It was a good week.
Susan Maury. My word is Dayenu, and I'm just grateful for what I have.
I'm getting pages as I pass my group.
Hatman Yeehaw.
Lynn Oxenberg, grandchildren. This was a week of lots of grandchildren around.
Lots of grandchildren for Lynn.
David Aubrey, fallback plan. I was supposed to go on vacation in North Carolina, and that got canceled, so I went to Philadelphia for 2 days instead.
And you're with us. What a blessing.
Louise Goldman, and I'd say gratitude. We got to see our newest grandchild this week.
Oh, nice. Pass that to your husband.
Myron Goldman. I guess I'd say happy and grateful.
Sherry Gordon. We just finished Hanukkah, so light one candle.
Elaine Wolfson Gordon, you're excited for my beloved dad, Joel Wolfson.
Chuck Bender, exhausting, I think is my word. Don't want to be a tax lawyer in December, so.
There you go. Chuck, good to see you. And Deb, you're next.
Debbie Shane, it's been a good, uneventful week.
Take a poem.
Okay, thank you.
Jonathan Shane, quiet but in a nice way.
Have a poem. All right, thank you everyone for your words, and we'll sort of let those words linger. And the reason I'm handing you a poem, but before I do, we read this poem, or I guess I will read it because I'm going to keep my mouth close to the mic so people who are at home can hear. If you wanted to think of every week of the year as a week that has a theme based on the Torah reading, the parashah, I would argue that a good candidate for this week's theme, Vayigash, would be forgiveness. This is the parashah in which Joseph, having set up the test for his brothers to see if Benjamin will return, and having hidden the goblet in his bag, and having him come back, and saying, Benjamin has to stay, you can go back to your father. And this is the week when Yehuda comes forward and offers himself instead of his brother, knowing that for Benjamin not to return to Jacob would be catastrophic for his father. And so this is the week in which, after hearing Yehuda offer himself instead of Benjamin, Jacob says, I can forgive you. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean that we forget. And obviously, Joseph has orchestrated this whole plan to see if his brothers have changed in any way. But we, all of us in our lives, have choices to make as to whether or not we are going to be willing to forgive. Sometimes we don't forgive because the person who has wronged us deserves forgiveness. Sometimes we forgive because we need to release ourselves from the burden of what we are carrying if we do not forgive. Now, obviously, I also want to acknowledge that some people have committed acts that are not forgivable, unlike in some other religious traditions. I don't know if you were as struck as I was after the Charleston church massacre, how the day that the shooter was arraigned, people who were relatives of those who had been murdered came and offered their forgiveness to the shooter. I don't think Jews would do that. But the concept of forgiveness, and at times in our lives when we need to forgive, is a very Jewish concept. And so I want to just invite you to think about whether or not there are people in your life who would benefit from your forgiveness, or whether or not you have felt forgiven by someone maybe in this secular year that's coming to an end, and whether or not that was a release for you. But in this week's Torah portion, Jacob is able to say, even though you may have planned for things to go ill for me, God had a larger plan, and I am able to forgive my brothers. They come because there's famine in Canaan, and Jacob is able to forgive them when he sees that his brothers have changed. So here's a poem about the possibilities of forgiveness for all of us. It's by a wonderful, wonderful rabbinic poet named Karen Kadar. I really love her poetry, and if you look her up on the web, you'll find some other incredibly beautiful things she's written. So here's a poem called Perpetual Crossings. I walk softly on the damp wooded path. Mostly I look down and see the ground beneath my feet is soft earth, gentle moss, and of course, this time of year, fallen leaves, which like angels have floated to earth, forming a gently lit path in the woods. And for every chasm along the way, for every fast-moving stream or deeply cut valley, a bridge appears. It seems there is always a way across, a way to get to the other side of fear, of sadness, of disappointment. There is always a way. Maybe goodness is the bridge, or beauty is the bridge. Love is the bridge. Forgiveness is the bridge. Of this I am sure. The path is eternal. It is our life and the length of our days. And the bridge is eternal. There are many ways to cross what seems impossible. Stones in the river, ropes suspended, planks of wood, arches of steel like love, patience, acceptance, and forgiveness. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We'll continue the service now as Chazan leads us in the Baruch Hu. You'll find it begins on page 28 of your prayer book. If you're able to rise, we'll do so. Baruch Adonai Mevorach Le'olam Vahed. Please be seated as we continue page 28.
Umavir yom v'layla, umavadil ben yom v'layla, Adonai tzevaot shemo, Elachai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Amari v'aravi.
Amen. Join with us, page 29, as we continue Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam b'Yisrael.
Ahavat Olam b'Yisrael.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו.
אוהב עמו ישראל.
אמן. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני
אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. והיה אם שמעו תשמעו משפתי.
שמתם את דבריי אל לבבכם.
על האדמה שנשבע אדוני לאבותיכם לתת להם כימי השמיים על הארץ. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבביכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריכם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם.
Continuing page 32.
אמפנה כל זאת וקיים עלינו כן על אלוהינו. ים סוף ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם, משה וישראל קנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, תורת תהילות וספר מלכות תקרה ובניך, עובדי הים לפני משה אלי, אנו ויאמרו אדוני יעקב גלום יחזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Join us as we continue on page 33 with Hashkivenu, the Craig Taubman melody, page 33.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu לשלום, לעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. Amideinu Malkeinu L'chaim Hashameinu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom Amideinu Malkeinu L'chaim Hashameinu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom Amideinu שלום יתה ויד עולם ופרוסן שקושמך ברוכת אדוני
Shmo.
הפרוס קושמלין במקומו ישראל ויד ירושלים.
Amen. We're going to continue on page 34, this Shamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם ברית עולם. ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים את הארץ וביום השני שבת ויהי עפר בני ישראל ודהי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל ודהי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל Shabbat, Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, לדורותם,
Invite you, if you're able, to rise. We continue with a Chatzi Kaddish on page 34, then some time for our own quiet prayer and reflection with the Amidah beginning page 35.
יתקדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בלמד ורקירותי ולמלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן ישמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי המיה יתברך וישתבח ויפואר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו ואלה מן הכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבקתה ונחמתה דמירן ביעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
Those of you who are still davening, please continue to do so. Those of you who have concluded, Chazan will be leading us in Oseh Shalom. Free to be seated if you would like to.
Oseh Shalom bimromav hu yaseh Shalom aleinu ve'ale kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh Shalom, Alano, Ve'ala Kol, Yisrael, Ve'imaru, Amen. Oseh Shalom, Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'ale Kol, Yisrael,
If you're able again to rise as we continue page 49, Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam asher kitsheh mitzvotav veratzavanu b'shabbat kodesho be'ahava u'b'ratzon hincha lanu zikaron le'maaseh bereishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנקלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. Before we continue with Aleinu, I want to just invite those of you who are watching on the Zoom, if there are loved ones that you are saying Kaddish for this evening, if you wanted to add their names and your relationship to them in the chat of the Zoom, we will invite both those who are here and those of you who are watching on the Zoom or live stream to be able to acknowledge the names of the people you are remembering. But we continue now on page 51 with Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום נשמע וישראל פשוט. כתוב בתורתו וידעת היום ושבתו. אין עוד על כן נקוד אחד כאילו. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
I want to invite those of you who are saying Kaddish to remain standing. We invite you to tell us the names. I just checked on the chat. I don't see anyone there. Chuck, do you want to begin? 22 years for your father, Irvin, of blessed memory. Jules Wolfson, of blessed memory. Your mother, Frida Sklarov, Zichrona Livracha. Val's mother, Ginger Brock, Zichrona Livracha. We ask God, who brings peace and comfort on high, to bring peace and comfort to you. All who are remembering your loved ones will continue now, page 52, with Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. V'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach leolam almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit alev, v'yit halal, shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela minko birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran bi'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Please be seated. We want to again thank our musicians. We want to thank Lisa and Tess and Carl for providing such beautiful music, and Chazan for leading us in davening so beautifully this evening. We thank you for being here and for making music. A few announcements to share with all of you. Tomorrow morning we'll be here for services in this room at 9:30 and also on Zoom and live stream as well. We are back to having in-person morning minyan every day in person, Mondays through Fridays at 7:30 a.m. here, followed by breakfast for those who are hungry or who are willing to eat in a place with other people where you have to take your masks off for a little bit. So we've had a lovely group of people coming and praying together and enjoying breakfast together, so we're glad that's happening. And we're hoping this new variant will not put a crimp in our plans to continue to be back in person. We have wonderful classes that you can take with our Center for Spiritual Wellbeing, Carol Nemiroff. I'm teaching a class on Tuesday evenings. The Cantor is teaching a tefillah class on Wednesday evenings. This Wednesday, we also have a wonderful sisterhood program with our Chazan Emeritus, Chazan David Tillman, a return to Anatevka, 50 years of Fiddler on the Roof. Can't go wrong with that. Wednesday night, I wonder if Chazan Tillman will be bringing his accordion with him for that. Next Friday night, a week from tonight, we'll look forward to the Neshama Band leading us with our Cantor and services. And then the next morning, we have a wonderful whole congregational Shabbat with our religious school, our Agar kids, our day school kids, our Tot Shabbat, lunch following services, and we are doing the theme this year of Midot, of building up character, and we'll be studying those together with our kids. By the way, just to make sure that you won't feel bad on Christmas Eve because you're not Christian, we're going to make it so great. You can order your own House of Kosher sushi for pickup on Erev Shabbat, Friday night, the 24th of December. So have some sushi. It's even kosher sushi that you can order through us, and you should be seeing ways to do that on through your constant contacts coming. So actually, I will tell you, if you have never had House of Kosher sushi and you eat sushi in other places, it's really good sushi. It's not just kosher. It's really good. So feel free to order your sushi and have it delivered to Beth Sholom on the 24th. I think that's about it for announcements. Anything else, Chazan, that I'm missing?
Nope, just we also have a choir on Thursday, 8 p.m.
And enjoy being part of our newly formed choir with Cantor Agar on Thursdays as well. Don Olam on page 54, and then we'll do Motzi, and then we're going to just invite people to chat in the Spielman foyer following services so our guys can reset this room for our Kol Ami friends who will be having services in this room at 7:30. Page 54. Shabbat Shalom. Yasher Koach. Shabbat Shalom. Nice job, guys. Well done. So Enzo's playing what?
Piano.
You're kidding.
Oh, yeah, he's had like, there's an academy in Elkins Park. It's like all Russian teachers.
Oh, wow.
It's like an old Catholic school, and it's this musical academy. He's studying piano. He's doing it.
Wow, so there's hardcore teachers there.
Really good. And great method too. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They move along. He's focused. I'm thrilled.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm thrilled.
All right, so we'll have a new keyboard player to
Oh
play with
yeah.
Steve.
We'll populate the band. Yeah.